Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to another episode of the Chocolate Shake. Inshallah, today I want to deal with the issue of John Henryism. For those who don't know, John Henry was a legendary figure in Black American culture that does have real roots, right? The story is not just a legend. It is, in fact, built off a real person by the name of John Henry. When you do your research on him, you'll find that he was a Southern boy born either right after slavery or in slavery and became free and was imprisoned while he was a teen. At about 19 years old, he was sent through convict leasing to a railroad company in Ohio. And this company was trying to burrow through like mountains, and they were making tunnels through hard rocks so that the trains can get from the eastern part of the United States, go through the Midwest, and make it to the West. Well, John Henry was one of these convicts that was leased out with a number of other Black American men. This was nothing but slavery by another name, right? We have books that talk about this era, and this is the era right as Jim Crow was being born. It came right out of the Reconstruction area and, of course, directly back to the Civil War. So we're talking about right after slavery and the Civil War period, right after Reconstruction or during the time of Reconstruction, and into what we call today Jim Crow era. This is probably 15 to 20 years outside of slavery where John Henry came onto the scene. Well, this young man and other convicts who were leased out to this railroad company were burying these holes through tunnels. And for whatever reason, I guess to show their prowess, their masculine prowess, their masculinity, their strength, to show the world that they were capable and able and worthy, these young men went up against a machine that was built, a big drill that was built to drill out these tunnels. They went up against this machine to show that they were better than the machine. They were faster than the machine. They can get the job done better than the machine. The long and short of the story is that John Henry himself, the person whom the legend was built around, with his masculine abilities, right, his strength, was able to beat that machine with some other young men beside him. Unfortunately, maybe a few hours later, 3 to 4 hours later, John Henry, he died. He died from exhaustion. Now, I talked about this story on this channel before. And the reason why I brought it up is because I see a serious continuation in the mindset of the Black American man that we have to constantly prove ourselves and constantly, come up with these ideals or ways of showing our worth. This is very, very dangerous. John Henryism, this ideal that we should push ourselves to this degree to prove anything to a white man, an Indian or an Arab, or some Africans that just got off the boat here, or some Haitians or Jamaicans or Trinis who just got off some airplane to come here. This idea that we should be proving ourselves to anybody is sick. It's very sick, because anybody with a shred of intelligence will know that this whole country, maybe even can be said the Western world, but definitely these United States of America, was built off the back of the Black American. We did all the work, from King Cotton to Queen Cane to Queen Sugar. We did it all. The rice, indigo, the dye, right? Fishing, anything that you can imagine that required that type of labor. Masonry, right? Brick masonry. All of these things were done by the African. Everything that you see in this country that brought this country money and put it in front of all other economies in this world was done because of the slave labor that was extracted from the Black American. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. So for anybody who comes here thinking that the Black American is lazy, or somehow we're not contributing or doing our part. And that's the reason why these Negroes stay in these bad situations. It's because you have bad morals and you don't work hard, right? I heard that from a white friend of mine that's close to me. And I've heard it all my life from white friends, even the liberal ones, not just the conservatives. I've also heard this from the liberals. You know, we're not smart enough. We don't work hard enough. You're just simply not moral enough to put your stuff together to be able to, achieve any type of status in the American economy or to have a part of the American dream. Not that the system was designed as a capitalistic, vulturist system, that it was designed to suck the blood out of the black and the poor, right? Not that. It's not the system. No, it's you Negroes. You Negroes are the problem. This is what we're being told. And unfortunately, a lot of the young brothers are believing it and they're following this up. So as the Baba, right, as the Sheikh, I'm coming to tell you, do not go for it. Do not believe in it. It is false. It is not real. This is a sickness that people have in their minds as Americans. This is a part of the American lie. This is a part of this ideal that, America is perfect and was built in fairness, when in fact the country was never built in fairness. The country from the onset, from the very beginning, it was vulturistic, highly capitalistic. And to have this type of capitalism, you must exploit others' labor. This is about labor exploitation. This is about class exploitation. That's what this is. And America has always been a system that locked out the black man and suppressed us and oppressed us. And that can never be forgotten. We can never let anybody get away with making us feel like that's not a reality. Never, ever let anyone tell you that you didn't do your part in building out this country. Now, with that being said, this John Henryism is some of the biggest contributors, if not the biggest contributor, to high blood pressure, hypertension, the feeling of not being good enough, being depressed, feeling that constant feeling in our hearts and in our minds that, we don't measure up. I don't measure up. I'm inferior. That's where I was going. This inferiority complex that's been foisted upon us. This is John Henryism. We have to be very, very careful about this. So I just wanted to remind those who are looking on, because I see these young brothers out in these streets here, trying to prove themselves. Every time I turn around, man, I don't care if it's in sports, it could be academia, I don't care what it is. I'm seeing all this high achievement, and amongst the sisters as well, the black women as well. I'm seeing all of this super duper achievement, and everybody's talking about this black excellence. I'll do that in the next video. And we're breaking our necks and killing ourselves. I mean, quite literally killing ourselves to try to measure up to these crazy standards and ideals or philosophies that have been hurled upon us. Yes, osteoporosis. Black men tearing out their shoulders, our necks, our backs, knees, pelvic bone, right? Ankles, fingers, toes, everything about us broken down, right? There was a study done on bodies that were found in Harlem. I forgot which place in Harlem. I think it was Central Park, where they found these graves of Africans who were slaves, meaning black Americans who were slaves, right? And their bodies, what was interesting is they were all Islamically buried. They were all facing the east, or the Kaaba in Arabia, letting us know they were Muslim, and they were in shrouds and not like suits and ties. Everybody knew, okay, these are Muslim men. These were men, no women. And all of these men were, when they checked the bones, they saw that all of them had osteoporosis in the shoulders, in the neck, in the elbows. They said some You can see the detachment, that the shoulders were actually detached from the type of work that they were doing up there in New York City at that time. The bodies or the bones showed that these men's bodies were absolutely torn apart from the labor that they were doing. So we don't need to prove anything to anybody about our worth by way of doing what we needed to do or have done in the past to be good workers, take care of our families, take care of our business, etc. We have to be very careful about people who come at us telling us that we're not worthy or we hadn't worked hard enough. So I want to take out this moment to do this video because of some of the things I see and I hear from the young brothers. Everybody's on the hustle culture. Oh, we got to hustle this. We got to hustle that. Men have jobs where they're working full-time, 40 hours plus. Myself in the past, until COVID, I worked 50 hours a week, and I did that for years, over 30-something years. And didn't even think about it. Rarely take vacation. Right? All I thought about is keeping my head down, make sure you take care of your family, make sure you take care of your business, miss all types of other opportunities in life, educational opportunities to learn the Arabic language through and through, because I couldn't take the time off to leave out and or take the resources from my bank account to give the people to do that when it was offered to me. All types of opportunities thrown out the window because I had to keep my head down and work and to take care of my family. And I did that. I did that. And other black men have done exactly the same as I have done, or other men in America have done the same thing we have done. So we're not going to be discounted for doing what men do. We're no less than any other man who've made the same sacrifices. So we'll be damned if anybody tries to come and tell us that we're not worthy. Some new jack that just came in here from Africa someplace, or Trinidad, or, Canada, or wherever these, South America, Central America, some Latino, and definitely not these white folks from America, not these lazy ass people. We know these are the laziest Americans, these white ones. So we're not taking any lip from them. So let's get this straight about our worth and who we are. Know yourself. Do your history. Check what went on in this country and how all of these movements that are labor movements, any human rights movement, any civil rights movement started with the Africans that were here, that were foisted into slavery. My people, the people who I come from. Black Americans. We are the starters of these labor movements. We are the people who pushed back against this vulture capitalism. We are the people who got these early shipyard movements going to make sure that we locked in a way to get fairness, fair wages, right? Made sure that we can get fair pay, get what everybody else got who worked. Unions is where I was going with that. All of these shipyard unions started with black people. And because of the shipyard unions in North Carolina, where all of this started, it spread all the way up through the North, into the Midwest, back down to the South. All of this started with black people, right? So let's be clear on what it is that we're worth. Study your history. Don't let anybody try to erase it or tell you anything differently about who you are. We are worthy. Okay, young brothers, just wanted to put that out there because of some things I just heard with criticism coming toward black men about hustle culture. And God willing, inshallah, I'm going to speak about this idea of black excellence and hustle culture in the next couple of videos. Be very careful about people who promote things like that. These are the contributors to diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, early death for black men. That's why we die before every other American, because we've taken on these ideals of John Henryism. Be careful, brothers. Respect yourself. Love yourself. And inshallah, we'll speak about it later. If you appreciate what I said in this video, please like it. And if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. Y'all take care out there, okay? Love you. Peace.